History of Pripyat, Part 2. The Beginning. As I said in the last part, Viktor Bryukhanov built Pripyat and Chernobyl nuclear power plant from scratch. Not only did he manage to secure at least most of the needed resources, but also finish the construction sooner than could be expected realistically. Of course, realistically means a lot later than the party wanted it to be built, but I will tell you a bit more about the USSR planning later. Let's start with the real beginning. Young and ambitious Viktor wanted to achieve something more than just assist others with big and important projects. We know little about how exactly did he manage to become a director of the new, not yet existing nuclear power plant. He was a Communist Party member, which basically granted him better options than the rest of the Soviet population. The party passport wasn't easy to get. The membership was not open, and to become a member, one had to get approvals from multiple, different level committees, gatherings, and even particular people, as well as be backed by some higher ranking officials. That's why being a part of the huge and corrupted USSR's political machine was usually a whole career. Anyone outside the inner circle was screened and tested often, while the whole Soviet apparatus was decaying from within for decades. And this is one of the main reasons why Chernobyl experienced such a disaster in 1986. Bryukhanov, when assigned the role of director of the to-be-constructed power plant, had to fight against almost every aspect of the USSR economy. Insufficiency of resources, not enough workforce, not enough specialists, small financing, and even power shortages. But most of that obstacles were yet to appear, as young Viktor didn't have any idea of exactly how hard it will be to complete the ambitious Soviet plans. When he first arrived in the area, he checked into the old, worn-out and cheap hotel, the only one within miles. He had some scarce personal belongings, but the most important were his notebook, a set of blueprints, and a wooden slide rule. And one more thing, a mission assigned by the party leadership. That was the beginning of the construction of the most well-known nuclear power plant in the human history. At this time, Viktor Bryukhanov was not only the director of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant, but also the only person employed there. Nothing was yet prepared, nothing has yet begun with the construction. Aside from that, Bryukhanov knew nothing about nuclear energy. He had managing skills polished in recent years, but that project was nothing he has ever seen. But that wasn't the issue for the Ministry of Energy in Moscow. Knowledge in the related fields was nowhere as important as blind obedience, undisputable loyalty, and just the ability to get things done. This may sound weird to us today, but the USSR's political machine was built on the wrong basis from the start. Communist Party was close to others, and thanks to the occasional purges, especially connected to changes of power within the party, most of the politics and career party members were relying on loyalty more than actual skills. That's nothing surprising. For them, it was better to have loyal subordinates than skilled, but independent ones whose support was not something natural. Every level of this political machine was reporting to the higher level and was relying on the reports from the lower level. Because of that, people in power in the USSR often didn't have any reliable information about what is actually happening in any aspect of the Soviet state. Someone high on the party ladder has an idea, passes it down, and doesn't care how it will be done, even if that wasn't possible to be done. So lower-ranking party members had to report success, no matter what was the truth, or face consequences, often not only political. But they didn't just report it. They asked people holding lower positions who also reported success, and so on and so on. Why? Because the appearance of success was perceived by the USSR as more important than actually doing something successful. So when Viktor Bryukhanov was given the task to build the most advanced nuclear power plant in the whole world, did he have all the resources and support he needed? Saying that he didn't would be a great understatement. Not only he didn't have it, but also he was constantly discovering that every single aspect of the project was not possible to be completed, either by the lack of specialists, funding or resources, or by the pure reluctance of people holding different political positions. But Brukhanov didn't have any other option but to do it. And no one would be asking questions if a lot of ambitious plans were not completed. They just needed to be reported as done. That's it for the second part of the Pripyat history. This will be a longer mini-series because that's the subject that isn't covered as much as it should be. We all know what happened at the power plant. We also know why it happened, if we mean what happened on the day and just before. But we rarely have an occasion to analyze the whole story behind Chernobyl disaster. And that means we have to dig deep into it and try to understand every aspect and every detail that, as a matter of fact, was incredibly important. That's why we are covering the history of Pripyat, because it's closely related to the infamous disaster. Don't forget to watch other videos on our Chernobyl Stories playlist. Take care, stay safe, and see you next week.